I literally just bought this today. Cranberry mango. I rate it a 10 out of 10. Period. And then my shirt says, if you can read this, you're standing too close. Baby, back up. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. Say it with me. It's Marshayla Monique.
All alone with my fears, I'm wondering if I have to do.
Man, right sled, I'm the young baby.
There's no reason why.
Still here with it.
Sleep late last night.
And today we're going to talk about how my skin's breaking out really bad. It's like, no. We're going to tell, well, I'm going to tell y'all a story about my biological father when he told me that he didn't know who I was and to never call his phone again. I'm going to give y'all a story time about when I searched up my biological father on the internet and called him. Where you at? Child support. Anyways, before I get started, I just want to say, for one, my father, the person that I've always known as my dad, passed away. I wear him on my necklace every day. I was blessed enough to have someone step up into my life and some of my siblings' life when they didn't have to. So I've always had a father figure in my life. Like I said, I'm very blessed. A lot of people don't get to have that person that steps up to the plate and acts like a real man and shows you what it feels like to be loved, and you know, like, just fills that void for you. But at the same time, like I said, I'm very thankful, and I will forever be thankful, and I will make sure that I tell my kids stories about him and everything. But at the same time, every day when I look in the mirror, I see this person that could care less about me and my sister. So yeah, it's a lot. It's everyday. It's an everyday struggle for me, honestly. But I fight through it because, like I said, I was blessed enough to have someone there. So I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of background. I was born in 1996. So I don't really want to tell my mom's business. So back in 1996, I was born to these two people, and I really don't want to tell my mom's business. But I was born in 1996. He was there, my biological father was there for a little bit. I don't exactly remember what age. Like, I don't have like a lot of memories of him, like not a lot because I was so young. But I don't remember what age like he like completely dipped out. But I remember he was around when I was a baby. And then I remember him being around again when I was around like 8 or 9. I met him again. And I met him again on like my 8th or 9th birthday. My mom let him see me, and he cussed me out because I didn't know who he was. I was acting really shy, and I wasn't talking, and I was like scared and stuff because I honestly did not know who he was. He was like a stranger to me. So he got upset that I was like acting weird. So he cussed me out and cussed everybody else out in the restaurant. So that was when I was 8 or 9. I don't really remember. And then as I started to get older and I started to get on the internet more and also see my other siblings around, my other siblings with like their dads and stuff like that, and me and my sister's dad like wasn't around, I started to like question myself. I'm like, okay, why do me and my sister feel so separated? Like, I just had so many questions, and I was so confused, and I was so young. But I had always known Carlos, the other man, as my dad. He was around at this time, and he was around for like homecoming, school dances, school plays, prom, like anything, any event, he was there, period. Never missed a beat. Birthdays, all that, Christmas, holidays, or whatever, he was there, period. There was always a thought in the back of my mind, like, why isn't my real dad around? So I was 13 and I knew what his name was. I still know his name, but I was 13 and I was questioning everything, and I just got on the internet, so I decided I was going to Google his name. So I get on Google, and the first thing I do is type in my last name. And this is also when I made my first Facebook account. So I typed in our last name, and this girl popped up. Her name was Marquita Blackburn. And that was my older sister, who I had kind of heard about, but like not really. Like I seen her in pictures, but I never really talked to her. So her name was Marquita Black, and I'm sitting here telling my last name. Okay, so anyways, I ended up finding out that I had an older sister. So I found her on Facebook, and I messaged her like, hey, like I think I'm your sister. I don't really know. Like I Googled my last name, and like you popped up, and I kind of look like you, but I'm not really sure. And luckily she welcomed me with open arms. Basically, the only downside was she lived in a whole nother state. She lived in Georgia. So I wasn't able to meet her. I still haven't met her till this day. 10 years later, still haven't met her. Well, 10 years since I talked to her, but 23 years of life, I have not met her in person. So I'm talking to her, and we're kind of just like getting to know each other. She's asking me about myself. She's asking me about my sister, and we're just catching up and whatnot. And it was hard to catch up because like I did not know her from a can of paint. But she ended up telling me, she kept saying like dad. She was saying, dad always talks about y'all and this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know who you're talking about. Like, that's not my dad. She's talking about him like she talks to him all the time. So when she keeps saying that, it kind of makes me feel some type of way, because I'm like, he ain't around for us, and he lives in the same state as us. So like, what's wrong with us? What did we do? She goes on to tell me that she can give me his, she could give me our grandma's number, and he lives with her. So he gives me her number, and after we hung up is when I Googled him. So I Googled his name and his last name, and I paid on this website to like get all this information. So I got like his address, his phone number, like his previous addresses, and a little bit other information. So I was able to find out exactly where he lived at, and it was like maybe like 15 minutes away from where I was currently living at, like with my mom or whatever. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, he lives right around the corner. Like, what the heck? So I'm sitting here, and at this point I was kind of getting excited, because I'm like, oh, like I can find out, I'm gonna get in contact with him, like I'm gonna meet him, like whatever. And so I had the phone number, and it matched the phone number that my sister had gave me. So I contemplated it for a while, and I think this is when I got my first cell phone. So I was kind of like sitting there, like really nervous, like anxiety, super young, like, but I was kind of excited, because I'm like, okay, like this is finally it for like me and my sister. Like, I'm gonna call him, like everything's gonna be cool, like I'm gonna meet him, blah blah. So I called the phone number, and I guess my grandma, I don't know, I guess she answered. Her name is Sandy. I'm gonna say their names because I don't care. So Sandy, his mom, answers the phone, and I'm like, hey, like I'm real scared. I'm like, hey, like this is Marshayla, your granddaughter. And she's like, I don't have no granddaughter named Marshayla, and don't call my phone ever again. I'm like, huh? I was like, oh, okay, confused. So I called my sister back, and I'm like, hey, like I called her and she said she doesn't have a granddaughter named Marshayla. And she's like, what? Like, she's acting crazy. We're gonna get on through it. We're gonna hop on throughway. We hop on throughway, and my sister calls, and I'm on the line, and she says to Sandy, or grandma, she's like, hey, like, did you talk to Marshayla? Like, she just called. And she's like, yeah, don't give neither of them my phone number. I don't want to talk to neither of them. Those aren't my grandkids, da da da. And my sister's like, whoa, like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, don't give them my number, da da da. Like, starts going off. Sisters kind of like trying to like back us up and stand up for us, and so I'm like, no, like these are my sisters. Like they wanted to know who you were, they want to know who their family is, blah, blah, blah. And she studied like she just really just don't care. She didn't care. We hang up and I'm like, I'm confused because I didn't expect it to go like that. So my sister ended up giving me, I think she gave me another phone number, or I don't know where I got this second phone number from, but it was a direct, I think it was my biological father's cell phone maybe. So I called him, and this was literally just the icing on the cake, like literally. And this all happened in the same day. So no, first of all, when I hung up with my sister and stuff, I was really, really upset. Like I can still feel the emotions, how upset I was, because that just really made me feel unwanted. And there's literally nothing that me and my sister did. If there is some issues that happen between like my mom and him and them, whatever, that has nothing to do with me and my sister. It has absolutely nothing to do with me and my sister. So I worked myself up to finally use this other phone number, and I called, and I remember it felt like it was ringing forever. It felt like it was ringing forever. And my biological father answers the phone, and I remember his voice, and as soon as I heard his voice, I froze up. So he said hello like 3 times because I got scared. And I'm like, hello? And I'm like, this is your daughter, Marshayla. He pauses, and he's like, I don't have no daughter named Marshayla, and hangs up the phone. And that broke my freaking heart, bruh. Like that broke my heart. You can ask anybody in my family. Like I took that so hard because like me person, like the type of person I am, I have a really big heart. Like when like I always get to the bottom of things because I always want closure for stuff. And that really broke my heart. And I remember just like dropping the phone and just like crying all night, because I'm just like, really? And it made me like regret even digging for anything, because it was like I didn't get anything out of that. The only good thing that I got out of that situation till this day is I know who my sister is, and we still communicate this day. I mean, till this day through like social media and stuff, and she's probably gonna watch this. Hate this. That's the only good thing that came out of that situation, honestly. And I want to say that I'm like over it and stuff like that, but like I said, out of all of the kids that man has, I look the most like him. So I always have this reminder with my physical appearance that I look like somebody that doesn't give a damn about me, honestly. I'm gonna just put it straight like that. So, and there's no reason for him to not be able to contact us. Like my mom owned a business for 20 plus years, maybe like 23 years, and her phone number was, if you drove past her salon, her phone number was on top of the building. He's like friends with people in my mom's side of the family. Like if he really wanted to like contact us and get to know us, like he would have done so. It's really not that hard. I've been on the news before. I was on WPXI before. Like I did not understand at all. But at the end of the day, I was lucky enough to have someone step up in my life, as I said, and I'm forever grateful for that. He made me understand what it was like to feel loved, and I feel like the relationship between a father and a daughter is really important, because you're going to be the first male she falls in love with before anyone else, you know what I mean? So the first male that I was supposed to fall in love with broke my heart, literally broke my heart into pieces. So with someone stepping up in my life, at first it was really hard for me to adjust and like accept him into my life, but he would always make sure he let me know, like, I don't want you to feel any different than the rest of your siblings, whatever. Like, you're my daughter, period. Like, there's no way around it. Like, you're my daughter, and that's how I'm gonna treat you. I'm not gonna treat you any differently. And he's all like, that dude is his loss for missing out, because you and your sister are living great lives. You're beautiful girls. You're smart. You got so much going for you. And that's honestly just how I try to look at it. Like, it's his loss, you know? And I got a lot of hate in my heart. I'm not gonna lie to you. It kind of makes me like sick to my stomach that someone could just walk away from something that they made. How could you walk away from something that you created? Like, I don't have kids, obviously, but like, I've seen I see my brothers raising their kids, my mom raised us, and just like that love that you have for your children is just like out of this freaking world. Like, so for men to be able, or men or females, it could go either way, for a parent to be able to walk out of their kid's life, something that you created, a small creation of you, like that just like blows my mind, literally blows my mind. So all I'm gonna say is this: I just hope that I never run into a man like him. I hope that I never run into him ever again in life, because as far as I'm concerned, my dad passed away March 31st, 2019, and that's just how I look at it, you know what I mean? Whenever I get older and I have kids, they will hear stories about the man that stepped up in my life. They will not know who the other man is unless maybe they come across this video. I don't know. And that's just how it's going to be. And for anybody out there that has a broken relationship with one of their parents, I want to, like, I don't even know what to say because it's tough, but I'm gonna just say it's their loss. And the best thing that you can do, and what I'm gonna do, is make sure that my kids have two loving parents, period. Like, two loving parents, and they're never gonna feel worthless or unwanted. So I don't want to be sad because I really don't care. I really hate him. Next, I'm happy, period. So that's all I have for y'all today. Y'all already know what it is, and y'all already know what it ain't. And I will see y'all in my next video. And y'all be blessed, period.